right, y'all. So let's talk about this. I spoke about the Nolen Wells case once. I said this is something that I don't want to just constantly make videos about. The only reason is because I don't want my videos, like I explained before, to be a part of other videos where people are just making conversation like it's a soap opera. I hope everybody that's making videos, I hope that something that they're saying, I hope their videos one way or another are able to impact truth. Something that will happen where justice is served. I've seen certain videos that the people might not mean any harm, but the videos, the titles at least, are very misleading. And you don't need to clickbait people to get them to watch a video. If you do, then, you got to understand it's wrong. Even if that's not your intentions, you should really be careful with how you word things. Like when I see a video that says, Nolen Wells' friends are cooked. Nolen Wells' friends are done. Nolen Wells, his friends are caught red-handed. That's misleading because what you think you're going to see when you watch the video is that there's been some arrest made. But that's not the case. And that's exactly why I could make videos and all I'd be doing is doing a watch along, listening to what's said, and then piggybacking off of what we're learning about the case itself. But there's been not one arrest made. I won't be shocked if all of these people involved are found innocent, regardless to what the evidence say. And I know from what I've heard, out of everything that we've listened to hear this girl going, is she still alive? And then you hear, well, can we hide the body? I was thinking the same thing. Like, we're not stupid. And we know that if it would have been the shoe on the other foot, we already know what would have happened if it was 3 black boys and 1 white guy. We know what would have happened. Look at how fast they made a decision in the Carmelo Anthony case. And of course, a racist or some coon would, oh yeah, but that was no. They came to a clear, quick decision. Not only did they do that, but basically they had an all-white jury on purpose and then said they didn't want any bias. Oh, so it takes somebody non-black to not be biased. And that's exactly what they were. For this case to be overturned, Trump just wiped out, he just let a lot of people go on our civil rights acts. Okay, so they're trying to make it where when you go to court, whatever the verdict is, it can't be overturned. So situations like if somebody is in jail right now for something they did not do, these cases can't be, we can't reopen the case. And you understand what I mean? To have actual justice served. And this is all what let me tell you something. The next person that come after Trump has a whole lot of undoing to do. And it should be the first thing, everything that this guy screwed up, that should be the first thing on their plate, is to redo all of these things. But that's another case. But pretty much why these situations are happening is because they do not want, these racists, the whole Trump administration, they do not want justice for anybody of color. They don't want justice. So when I see a lot of these videos, I'm skeptical of watching, because what I usually do when I see a video like that, I will type in Nolen Wells suspects arrested or something, just to see if there's any news. And if there's no news, I'm not going to waste my time. Now, black people, we should be supporting each other. People, good people in general, we should be supporting each other. But I find it dishonest and irresponsible for somebody to make a video and title it the way y'all title a lot of these videos. And you're not, like I said, you never know what a person's motives are. A lot of times people might play the role and don't really care. They're just trying to monetize their channels. And people could really care, but they're just not making the best decisions on how they word their videos. This young man is gone. This is not a soap opera. This is not entertainment. But a lot of people, I actually seen one guy, he did his video and he does his thing where he's sitting there speaking. He has like the Batman sound, whatever, like he's, and it's like, this is not entertainment, man. This is where, you want to know why I do my videos like this? I like that raw, gritty feel. It's like when I sit and watch old videos of like Ronnie Lott or somebody, like the old football, old boxing games. There's something about that. I just like that look. So for anybody that don't, yeah, my camera, I do this on purpose. I just like that feel. You know what I mean? So case in point though, is when I do my videos, I'm not doing these type of videos to entertain people. Certain subjects we talk about is to bring awareness. We need things to stop. So again, I'm not saying everybody who's making these videos have any ill will to what they're doing, but it's misleading. It's dishonest. You're saying, in your opinion, they're cooked. It's obvious that they're lying. I agree. But that's what your title should say. It's obvious that the suspects are lying. And the thing about it is they're not even seen as suspects. And they're playing the victim, now pointing the finger at the parents of Nolen Wells. And how dare you speak as if you were closer with Nolen than his own parents was. I'll tell you guys something right now. We live in a world where you can't trust many people. And it's not wise. I don't know what type of people Nolen Wells and his mom is. I don't know the family. I don't know them, period. So I don't know what type of people they are. But if they thought that Nolen was in good hands simply because of who he was with and because of their skin color, this is something that a lot of people do. And non-racist white people will tell you the same things. Like, I don't even hang out. Non-racist white people say, I don't hang out with racists. Why would I? And I respect that. Why would anybody? And like they said, I know people that will hang around them, but they will say to me, like, I don't know why this person feels that way, or why they're so racist. And, well, how could you stomach it? How could you tolerate it? And they said, people like that better be careful, because the fact that you don't share their sentiments, they might target you like you're one of them, and try to set you up. But the fact of, and I'm not afraid of any of it. And this is not about fear. This is about the reality that a lot of people are like that. I've known people, I remember a town I used to work in a long time ago. And I remember a couple of like nurse aides and like ward clerks, a couple of nurses was, I made it. And this is the exact words. I made it. I live around white people. I live in, like, okay, and what's that mean? And I remember this one woman, the same woman that said that year, they had a KKK march. This was in the 90s. They had a KKK march in that town. People that worked where I was working, you saw them on camera walking with them. There was, and this was just okay. Nobody was fired. No. Oh, no. But they were marching with the KKK. Now imagine, then you come to work and you see these people. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And she had some humble pie because she made a comment about these people. They come from Essex County. They're not out here. Like, I was born and raised out here. And the woman looked her up and down and said, "What is your name again?" Like, it was basically to like, yeah, okay, and like, let her know, okay, you're not special. And I remember this racist woman stood there. Was a couple of people from the administration standing in the parking lot one day. And this was after 9/11 happened. Because where I used to work at, you could see the Twin Towers from this where we were, this window that was facing, you could see the Twin Towers. So I remember them standing there looking out the window. They see the nurse aides and the water clerks and the different people, the housekeepers and all that, the diet people that work in dietary, the security guards, everybody's coming on their shift. And I remember one of them said, if it was up to me, everybody, this was in Morris County. He said, if it was up to me, for you to work here, you'd have to be from Morris County. All these people come from Essex. And look at them. They're nurses, aides, not even just the nurses, but the aides alone. Look at these people. They're driving nicer cars than we do. Well, one of the things that happened too, there was a lot of overtime back then. We had a full house in every department. The nursing home was a nursing home, and the place itself was packed full of people. They had 600 beds, and all 600 beds were always filled. Somebody passed away, they get somebody else. And little by little, that whole little, everything changed for the worse. Now, let me explain this to you, though. When this was going on, there were people who they had bad experiences with racism, but they didn't know how to address it. The majority of the people that worked there were West Indian, as far as nursing and all that, and the nursing staff. Most of dietary, even, like housekeeping, and most of the people in the offices. Now, you had some had Latinos as well, Black Americans. White Americans, as far as nursing staff, they had one. The entire time I was there, one nurse aide that was white. Everybody else, you were either a nurse, so the nurses would either be Philippine, Haitian, African, or Jamaican. The office staff, you had very few people. I remember two sisters. You had not even 6 people. That was, you didn't have more than, it was like four or five people down there. The two sisters, and then but bottom line, you had under 6 people. That was West Indian, and they had 4 Black Americans that worked in the offices. So if you worked in those offices, the majority of the people in the offices were white. Okay? And we talk about from recreation, like all these different departments. The boiler room guys, okay? Maintenance guys, everybody. The hardest workers in the building were always the ones that got the most complaints. And you're dealing with people and working with their families. And I can remember how people were just learning the hard way, because they would have certain functions. Oh, yeah, come on out. And the Black people will go out there and experience stinky, nasty, disgusting, rotten racism. And they started realizing, you know what? The best thing for me to do is bring my Black ass to work and leave and go home to my family. Hanging around out here is not a good thing. This particular town, you had a lot of interracial relationships. So people get fooled by that. They don't understand. When you from the outside looking in, you think you know what's happening, but you really don't. And there was so many situations where people would gang up and lie. Like, I can remember when I first came to that place, there was this old white lady who was a nurse up on one of these units. And there was a Black woman who was a ward clerk. A Black American woman. Me, her son, and there's this other guy. We started there the same exact day. And people thought she was my mom for whatever reason. But they thought she was my mom. And I remember I was there. they had those little drinks called Ensure that has protein, and they're for the residents so they could, but they have so many. A lot of times what happens is the residents don't eat or drink a whole lot, and the majority of them are like up in age. So if something was getting to the point, people steal. They would take things, like, nah, man, they're not going to miss it. They're going to throw it out. If they don't give it all out, they're going to throw it out anyway. I was up there, and I remember this one day, this same woman, she told this black woman, oh, these insurers, she's like, we wanted to clean this area out. I got some stuff I got to put in there. But these are, what? It's just so many. We have so many. You could take them if you want. And yeah, because we got to put this there and this. And she, oh, I said, yeah, sure. Because I got one myself. I'm going to take that one and that one. If you want it. But what she did is when she was on her way down, she said, they have these big bags, like when you go to the supermarkets or like different stores, like Five Below sell these bags. Not the plastic bags, but the ones you buy. They're big, so you can take them to the grocery store. So as opposed to using little small plastic bags, you can put whatever in these bags. So it was one of those big bags like that. And what she did was, this was almost time to go. So what happened was, and our shift was 7 to 3 at the time. So I'm up on the unit. And when this woman was taking these things to her car, it was time to go. Well, the woman that told her it was okay to take it, she got on the phone and called security and told her she caught one of the women, the ward clerk, up on the unit. She caught her stealing. It's like a case, like it looks like those insured. Plus, I'm not sure because she had her back, but I could see the bag was bulky. Something big was in it. She said, I think it was one of those because there was 3 cases left. When I went in there, I only saw 2. Now, I can ask around and see if the girls gave any out to the residents. She said, but it's almost time to go, and people should not be stealing anything from here. And the guard stopped her. He knew who she was, but he explained, gave her her name and everything. And I'm like, wow, I saw that. And they stopped her, and she told him that, yeah, she was told that she could take it. Lady denied it. Now, I was there, and I was a witness. And the thing was, I don't think the woman saw me where I was. And regardless, they never came to me. And I told the woman that was accused, I heard everything that was said. They never once came to me. They never once came to me. I was the new guy there. At that point, I had been there maybe a month and a half, something like that. But they never came to me and asked me anything. They fired her. She had to go to get an attorney to get her job back. And it was so much like whatever went on. My point with that was all of these people that went up there, they would say the same thing. This is the bomb job. And we out here around all these white people. Now, this is coming from the black people. We're coming out here around these white people. So wherever there's a lot of white people that, we good. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting here looking at them. And I'm saying to myself, these people are delusional. And I looked and I said, what the hell is we working around white people got to do anything? I know the point you're trying to make, but you and I aren't white. Why are you putting yourself in a category that you're not in? If we're looking at human beings and human beings doing the right thing, being good people, that will be a whole different conversation. But you're sitting up here saying you feel more confident working here because of the amount of white people here. You feel like this place is more important than if this place was in the neighborhood that you're from. You sound stupid, man. And you want to know when you look back and realize like nobody that was in that group, nobody from that time is still there right now. It's amazing. All of the wrongdoing, the lying, the disrespect, the racist remarks, all the slander. And then you have the people like myself that wasn't going for that BS. But at the same time, I witnessed how black people think if we are around white Americans, let's just be specific, automatically you're in good hands. You understand what I'm saying? It's obvious the neighborhood is safe because the police are going to patrol the area. Make sure, because, hey, this is white folks out here. So right, you're not white, which means in an environment that looks like still waters to you, because of your presence, that's when the storm comes in. Because what you fail to realize is that with all of the white people walking around, you don't know who's good and who's not. And it's always the racist ones that will 911. I see a suspicious looking black man or what. It's always that. And this is exactly why. Like that joke Dave Chappelle said about every black person should have a white friend. Because when the shit goes down, somebody's got to talk to the police. And I'm saying, like, yeah, it was a joke, but that's really the mindset that people have. And so, therefore, let's just say, for example, and I'm not saying that this is Nolen Wells' situation at all. I don't know that. Could been, might have, I don't know. That's not what but my focus, what I'm saying is, I know people that, black people that say, they will tell you, don't hang out with Hakeem and Tariq and them boys are dangerous. Now, they haven't seen them do anything. It's just where they're from. And they might talk a certain way. They might walk a certain way, dress a certain way. But then, they're white friends that live where they live. They're white friends that they never question anything about them. They don't feel any fear. They don't feel like there's nothing to worry about. And they feel like if something does happen, like Dave Chappelle said, well, the white kids will speak up. Therefore, the black kid will be safe. My black kid will be safe because he has white friends. The cops aren't going to bother them. That's a fallacy. But what happens when those same kids that you feel so comfortable with your kid hanging around, they aren't who you think they are? I noticed with the black kid in the Nolen Wells case that said he was his best friend, and the mom said she don't even know who he is. You look at things like that, and for people that still here on this earth, you have decisions to make. See, the thing about when you're not racist, a lot of times you're naive to who is, and you don't see danger when there is. But you, yourself, will be afraid of your own people, afraid to go in neighborhoods where your own people are. But because, again, where you live look like still waters or places you visit, yes, it's not until they see you. Now it's a problem, but you don't realize that. It's almost like the other character Dave Chappelle played, which was the racist black guy that thought he was white, and he killed him, nigger, right? You kind of don't realize that you're walking around and you're the one smiling and being so nice, and these people are looking at you like, what the hell are they doing out here? Who are these darkies? Where do they come from? Will this continue? Black people feeling safer, thinking their kids are safer because they're in a neighborhood living around white people. White people, good white people, understand exactly what this message is. They're saying the same things I'm saying. It's always the racists that try to screw it up and try to mix it up. We don't care about them. They want to be the only voices heard as it is. But if you're going to continue to do these things and you're going to continue to act like everything's okay, white people that care for you wouldn't even take you around racist white people. First off, they would not take you somewhere that they know, like, well, they hear the conversations. They know what these other people talk about. So this Nolen Wells situation, people are talking about it like it's some damn soap opera, man. So all this Yeah, we're gonna get to the bottom of the crime, you know what all that, like, stop trying to bring humor to it. Stop trying to treat this is not entertainment. That's one of the biggest problems with our people is we see everything is damn entertainment. Stuck in damn silly mode. And this is not the message that we should be trying to get out. No different from and here's the thing about it. I can't tell you the amount of white women that I have heard make videos, I have talked to in person. I've experienced it myself where I told y'all the story before, where I was outside of a laundromat one night. I didn't know, in the same town that I'm talking about right now that I used to work in, because I was going on a 2-week vacation. I think I might have had the whole month off, however it was. And that night on the way home, there was a 24-hour laundromat, and I said, I'm going to stop there and do my, just knock my, and plus I left early because I had time that carried over, so I left 4 hours early. So my shift was 3 to 11 at the time. I left 4 hours early. And so when I went there, I'm outside, and it was a Friendly's restaurant right next to this laundromat. I went over there and I got some ice cream. I came and sat down, and the two white girls that was in there, they were really very friendly. And they, oh my God, I always forget there's a Friendly's over there. Oh, that looks so good. And they went over there and they got ice cream. They came out and sat right outside with me. This one cop drove past 3 times. Are you girls okay? I'm like, yeah, we're fucking okay. Why wouldn't we be? Like, they knew what he was doing. And I've seen that same thing happen so many times. And the type of thing where you never see a black woman with a white man and a male or female white cop drive up and ask, ma'am, are you okay? Never. You never see that. You never see that. But it's always a white male cop that see a white woman with a black man. Are you okay? And all of these situations that I've witnessed personally, and the situations I've seen on video, and the conversations that I've had with people that have told me the same thing because they have black husbands, I cannot tell you how many people these white women are telling you, stop taking your black husbands in these racist neighborhoods. Stop going places like you feel comfortable, but you're not thinking about, and this is what they're telling you. You know who these racist people are. This is why you keep your distance. So why would you bring, your husband, say he's not aware of these places. He's just going with you. Babe, let's go. You want to go out tonight? Oh, sure, let's go. And but he doesn't know. Not because he's stupid. He's not used to the neighborhood. He's not familiar with this place. And so basically, it's the type of thing where they're telling you, you think you're safe because you see white skin. No, because basically, skin color don't tell you who's racist. Their attitudes, their character does. But from just looking, you don't know who's who. You understand what I'm saying? So it's one of these things where if these white women are speaking up and saying the same things, when are we going to wake up as black people and understand it's not just a dating thing, it's overall, period. Because your life is on the line. Once you're gone, you're gone. There's no do-over, man. It's not a video game. It's not a movie. It's not a cutscene. This is real life. So we got to understand, when tragic things like this happen, it sucks and justice needs to be served, but we also got to understand, where's the cutoff? Okay, what do we learn from this that we can take with us, that we can also pass on to our kids and people that we love as well? Because it's the Nolen Wells situation overall, but at the same time, it carries over from him to other people to, are you afraid to say, no, we're not going? No, you're not going over there with them. No. And this is the sad part about it. This is why it's hard for people to be friends or trust people of other ethnicities. When you see things like this happen, and the majority of the voices you hear speaking are racist people trying to speak against justice being served. But the people that's speaking on behalf of justice and speaking up for Nolen Wells, whether black, white, whatever color you are, let's look at it this way. It's necessary to speak up, but it's a way to do it. But two, this can't be the amount of white people that I see speaking up for Nolen Wells. It would be really sad if that would be the only amount of people, because it's not a whole lot. But there's people that maybe that they don't go on social media. They're not, don't have different channels and all of that. But at the same time, it's one of those things where they know this is all kinds of wrong. But every time somebody has a microphone, like in other words, let's say there's 8 white people that's speaking up for Nolen Wells, speaking against the injustice. You can see 500 white people celebrating Trump, advocating for slavery, advocating for racism, making excuses for what they do. So therefore, it's like, well, damn, where are all the good people at? But according to these racists, they are the good people. Speak up on behalf of justice. This Nolen Wells situation, like I said, it's not a soap opera. This is something why when I talk about real subjects like anything I talk about, I'm going to tell you it's real. I don't want, like I said, people to look at my videos like, oh, this is more entertainment. No, take from this what you should take from it. This is not a soap opera, man. So I'm, what I would like to be able to say is that arrests were made, because I'm convinced from what we've seen and heard already, and the whole throwing this coon Tatum out there like he's supposed to be some equalizer. No, he hates his own people, and he knows that, and they know that. So why would you take his word for anything? And that's my point about a good white person. They would say, Tatum, you're a sellout. You're a token. Why would we know automatically, no matter what, if these dudes came out and said we did it, you'd probably go, no, you didn't. You guys are just saying that to be nice. You didn't do it. But instead, they want to go, well, Tatum's a black guy, and he even said that these white kids are innocent. You're basing it, the racist people are trying to keep these white kids free. Whether it was a racist attack or whether it was just a, hey man, I got mad, I lost my cool, I choked him out when he wasn't, whatever happened, it was still this, what happened. Regardless of whether it was racist or whether it was just this dude lost his cool. But at the same time, there's no effort in the police, no urgency to try to get to the bottom of anything. And this is why everybody's voice is important. It's just the way you do it. Like I said, they wasted no time with Carmelo Anthony. And then you got the Stephen A. Smith. There's no other way to say it. Carmelo Anthony, shut yo. That's why even your hairline don't even like you. Your hairline is way back here now. You only have corners and peaks on it. Just shit. So this is why, like I said, with this situation, I would rather, and that's pretty much what I'm hoping for, what I'm waiting for, that justice is actually served. Just like with the Chud the Builder situation, they about it, but we got word that this dude has been released. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But from what I heard, and from the videos that I've seen, it may be true that he has been released and that he's basically not allowed, he's banned from social media. So it would be very easy for him to get out, go wherever the hell he is, and pretty much, whether he still had that dusty mustache on his face or whether he's trying to have a different look to hide, I don't know. But I'm not shocked by any injustice that happens in America. I'm not shocked at all. At all. But I will tell you, going forward, we need to learn, not just from Nolen Wells, from everything that's happening. But this Nolen Wells situation, being that it's talked about, and it's a situation that when you look at how a situation could have been avoided, the thing that people got to remember, the mindsets of what the people were thinking that particular day or throughout the duration of this relationship that they had, people didn't see a reason to do things to avoid it. And this is where I'm saying we have to pay attention to everything. And the problem with good people is they're afraid to put their foot down, because you know what you don't want to do? They're afraid, well, what if I shut the doors and close, have like a closed heart to people that are not racist, that are not after me. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's the difference. You're not a bad person. You're not racist. You're not trying to be racist. You're not trying to advocate for any wrongdoing. But it's like, you also don't need to be weak. You don't need to be a coward. You don't need to be a punk bitch. And you don't need to sit here and take something scared. You're more worried about hurting that person's feelings. That person might be wanting to hurt you permanently, physically, in your life. You got to really be serious about how you see people and who you trust. Sending your kids to these camps because it's a Christian camp, or same thing. Oh, the majority of people white, and how they're gonna take care of their own. I've heard this conversation. You guys, like I said before, you remember, it makes me think about that episode of Sanford and Son when Fred had that bad tooth and he said, I'll go to the dentist on one condition. I want a white dentist. And he said, now, is it just by chance that the best dentist schools are for the white people, by the white people, of the white people? And the audience was, now, when he says that, he goes, white dentist, please. Now, Lamont starts breaking down to him about the first successful open heart surgery was done by a black man. A black man invented blood plasma and all that. So it's a show, it's a sitcom, and yeah, Fred is cracking his jokes and all that. But it turns out that the head dentist there, was black and was the best dentist that they had in there. So there was a message in the episode, but the point is the mentality. Yes, a lot of people feel like that, man. And this is what I'm saying. You being too soft to make the right decisions could end up being the reason, the difference whether you live or not, or your child lives or not. And for you guys that may not be aware, do this. Go on your Google search. Type in how many incidents, right, in the past 2 years or whatever. Just how many years you want to go back. Just put 2 years alone. Look at how many incidents there's been where a black person go out with their white friends and they're the only black person there and they never make it back. Just do it. And you'll realize way before this Nolen Wells situation, there's been so many of these cases. And they still haven't found the suspects. And just like now in 2026, you know what the police said when they did find the bodies? Oh, no foul play. That's the sign. That's the saying now. No foul play. They find black people hanging from trees. They just found another one yesterday. Yesterday was Tuesday. Just found another one hanging. No foul play. No foul play. People believe that the police in these towns where these things are happening are behind it. This is what, think about this. You could take the most non-athletic person. Somehow they can find a way to climb a tree, right? And just hang themselves. This is what black people are doing. They're just hanging themselves. No foul play. When something becomes a routine, people repeat. They say things, right? Without thought, without questioning it. It's just, this is what people do, right? Which also means they become complacent and they don't really think about things. So what they do is give you what everybody else is giving you. But if somebody stops and go, wait a minute, I know that we do this that way and this way, but I'm looking at this and I'm thinking there's a better way to do it, right? When that happens, that's when you start to see progression. Now, people don't like change, so they like, I don't want to, but then when you realize, no, this is a change for the better. Why would you not want to change for the better? Why would you not want justice? And anytime you live in a country where a case happens, they throw this shit together. And the same thing in Nolen Wells' situation. This one boy mom is a judge, right? And she's the one trying to make all the excuses and trying to talk about her knowledge and experience and how she don't think that her son had nothing to do with it, or she don't think anybody did anything to Nolen. Well, let's look at Carmelo Anthony's situation. It was the same thing of where the judge, the prosecutor, everybody, all parties involved were friends of the parents of the kids involved. And this is why those kids, instead of, even if they thought Carmelo Anthony was up to no good, why not? What do you always tell these minors? What do you always tell kids? Don't take things into your own hands. Notify an adult and let them take care of it. No, they want to walk over there and be tough asses. And Carmelo Anthony defended himself, but somehow he is the one that gets arrested. And no matter what anybody else did, the fact that this one dude lost his life, it don't matter what they did. Let's just focus on the outcome. That's what you call poking the bear. You just keep, and this bear just keeps turning. This bear turns every direction he possibly can, and finally he gets sick of you poking him, and that bear just lashes out. Now it's, oh my God, look at the bear. Look. That bear was minding its business. That bear was to itself. That bear wanted no problems, but you kept fucking around, and because of that, now you walk over there to try to be Mr. Tough Ass. And for them, and in a couple of matter of days, they threw this thing together, and before you know it, Carmelo Anthony's guilty. And where were they at? At a school, a track meet, or whatever the sport was that they would do, football game, whatever it was. You understand what I mean? And just like that. So it doesn't matter. Black people understand this. You can be going to college, coming from college, going to church, coming from church, in school. It don't matter where you are, going to work, coming from work, first day at your brand new job, you just got a raise, going to a graduation, coming from, it does not matter. These racist people have no problem taking your life. Stop thinking you're safe just because you're around people that have people that look out for their people. You're not one of them. Case in point. Catch you guys on the next video.